That.
Obviously, we are being recorded, so, okay. My name is Bob Moyer. I am the chair of the DRB. John Richmond Hall.
Hello, hey.
Steve Zinn.
Hi.
Linda Doan. And Jen Phillips. Phillips.
Did I say something about put this on Zoom?
On Doom.
That's what's happening with this computer.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we're, so, I don't know if anyone is,
The Zoom meeting wasn't advertised, so I don't think anyone's calling in.
okay, okay, we
It
won't
was
worry
just
about that.
a last minute thing, because we're uploading our videos and playing sounds.
Okay, so. I will call the hearing to order at 7:03. And what we will, how we will proceed, we'll give you folks a chance to present your situation, with, Grace. I'm sure will be willing to help out here. We will ask any questions we have, give you a chance to respond, and there are certain formalities, of course, we do follow, we have to follow, but we try to keep things as friendly and informed as we can. So yes, exactly. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is read the warning for the meeting, which was in the Randolph Herald 2 weeks ago. Notice is hereby given by the Braintree Development Review Board of a public hearing to be held on Thursday, August 28th, 2025, 7 p.m. at the Braintree Town Office, 932 Vermont Route 12A, Braintree, Vermont, for the purpose of reviewing and taking comments on the following. Application number ZP 25-15 by Christine and Terry Dam to subdivide their 33.3 acre lot, creating two parcels, with one parcel being 13.3 acres and the other 20 acres. This property is located on parcel number 07-010 at 758 Bent Hill Road in the Rural District 1. Copies of this application are available for review at the Braintree Town offices. Participation in this local proceeding is a prerequisite to the right to make any subsequent appeal. Dated this 5th day of August 2025 by Grace Persons, zoning administrator. So, the first thing I'm going to ask for is disclosure of any conflicts of interest and ex parte communications on the part of the board. You hear any? Okay. Then I need to know if we have any interested persons here. An interested person, only an interested person who has participated in this proceeding may take an appeal of any decision issued in the proceeding. An interested person would be probably principally an abutter or someone else who has some reasonable interest in the proceedings. Are there any interested persons? Okay. So we don't need to worry about that. Now I will ask the dams to and interested persons, of which there aren't any, to take the following oath. I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalty of perjury. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the board has received, I think all of you have received the materials from Grace. You have the details on the application, what is being requested. Is there a printout?
Here?
Yep.
Thank you.
Um. So I will ask the applicant, if you would please. To make any comments you would like to regarding the application that we have before us.
It's all here to see.
Okay, and who are you?
I'm Ron Townsend, so
Okay,
I hope.
I've seen the evidence of your work around all over the place. It's nice to finally get to attach a face to it.
Yeah, I get around.
You do, yes, you do. Okay, you probably know Blake Towns. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yes, he was very thankfully retired, I understand. Okay, so would you folks like to tell us about your proposal?
So I contacted Gary Tallman, he recommended Mr. Townsend to do the survey work. We have previously gotten permission to rent the building, which was formerly our work studio, then my art studio, which we moved 2 summers ago to a site which had a previously existing 1,000-gallon septic, which was in the ground when I bought the property in 1994. Yes, so the permission to have a trailer there for rental, actually for a campground, have been grandfathered in. So I actually contacted the zoning administrator at the time twice. I have emails, you would see them, just to make sure that everything was, you know, the hearsay evidence from the people who sold me the property was actually for real. But I had never seen the septic, so that was pumped, discovered, everything's cleared off. We moved the trailer up there. This was in 22. And they got permission, had the zoning folks and the listers come up, look at it. So it was ready to go. And then I had a back operation and it just didn't seem like renting to traveling nurses was gonna be something to do. My husband's still working at Vermont Castings, we need to get him retired, so I thought, why not create a subdivision, and sell the property rather than renting it, having to, taxes keep going up, we still have to pay for the insurance, taxes on the property, all that other stuff, so we just subtract that from what we could get for rental. So that was something we went to rent to traveling nurses as a benefit to the community as well as to us. But we thought, okay, another thing that's very lacking around here is affordable housing. And we thought this is a nice small starting place for maybe a couple or for retired people who don't want to live in a, you know, place like Morgan Acres. So that was our thinking behind doing this. Now, I was told by the people I bought the property from, Daphne and Roland Spear in 1994, that the house, we were really only the second owners, that the house had been there since probably 1784. And when I went to the vault the other day and looked through, we got back as far as 1878. Beyond that was just copper plate writing and no pictures of anything. So I think that family owned property, we're only really the second owners. So the irregularity in the outline are pieces that were sold off over the years. What I read in the history of Braintree is that everybody kind of got a 100-acre plot, and then needs must, things got sold off. And I really couldn't find any record. I just got back to copper plate writing and there was no go to this book, go to the next book, go to the next book. It kind of dropped off because it was all within the family. Now, I don't know where the wills are kept. I'm sure maybe there's something about inheritances, but that's not in the records that I could look at. So anyway, I did a little drawing, and that's us at the bottom. And it is irregular because all the blue is what was sold off. The straight line is Mr. Townsend's line. So that's as good as we could get to conform. And that seems to be the main sticking point, from what I can understand, as to whether or not we get approved to do that. We tried to conform to the 10-acre minimum, so it's 13.3 acres. And as I talked about in the form, Well, you can. They have.
We should have all
yeah.
this, yeah.
The appearance, if you drive by, it looks exactly how it has it's looked for 30 years I've owned it. And the dividing line of the stream in the back, it's all a forested hillside. So nobody can even see that. I've been up on that property once. My husband's been up a couple times because he's a lot more able to walk around up there. And it's been in land use, so it's been surveyed by the land use folks every 10 years for the last 30 years. So as far as keeping the character of the neighborhood, absolutely, I want to do that. You want to do it. It's a beautiful piece of acreage, I think. It's field, it's stream, there's a mountainside. You can embrace some livestock there, they can plant a garden there. If it were a rental, it would be exactly the same use as if somebody bought it, only somebody would own it versus somebody living in it that's renting. So that's our thinking.
Okay, thank you. Now I would invite board members to ask questions of the dams if anyone has any questions on the materials we've had or the presentation.
I think the road frontage was.
I see that as the main
The
issue.
main
yeah.
issue, you're right, you've conformed to the minimum 10 acres. But in that rural one district, it's 300 feet of road frontage that. And that's what you applied for the a waiver for that.
No, I was told that there was the shape that was the sticking thing.
Well, there are,
And after that is the road front.
yeah, I mean, there are some.
The shape defines the road front, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's. the-
But you know, it's an odd shaped thing to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I may be mistaken, but my main question is about the road frontage or concern is. I don't know how the rest of the board feels.
Yeah,
Joan, you did some homework.
I did, yeah, I did a little research on road frontage, and. So you're less than, you're way less than 300 feet, and. One of the problems is that, from my point of view, regarding our bylaws. If you subdivide, you're taking something that's barely in conformance. And now you have two lots that are really out of compliance with the road frontage. So that's why you're applying for the waiver.
So you're saying that plot before the subdivision was barely in compliance?
Yeah.
But it's 200 and some feet for the subdivision, right?
And rural one requires 300. So you're just getting. Right, before the subdivision.
But isn't there an option to be able to not, right, really serve comparison?
Yeah, and that's fairly ambiguous. I started a conversation with Two Rivers out of Quechee about what's the purpose of road frontage and why do we care about road frontage and so forth and so on. So the reasons are to give people access, safe access to roads and highways, to make sure that you have an unobstructed view and so forth. We also have been talking a little bit with the Planning Commission. And one thing that just to go back to Two Rivers, they pointed out that they think we need to clarify that potential ambiguity in our zoning regulation about the ratio and what that really means and what that's meant for. In the estimation of Two Rivers, that could be meant to apply to a landlocked parcel that has no other option. So I'm not sure about that, but we have the zoning rules. So, yes, I think the two big drawbacks with what you're doing are the shape, but this dimensional change. I guess my question would be, you sort of have a grassed in driveway that's going to this.
With a separate driveway.
Yeah, and that drive, it wasn't super easy to figure out where that driveway sat. With regards to the survey, so it's on the side. It's on the side. Okay, and that's what you,
That was the purpose of, for that,
okay. Welcome.
I'm sorry, I missed the,
Oh, I was asking if you drive past, there's kind of a grassed in driveway. It's been a driveway, maybe it hasn't been.
Well, which
this
is,
year.
there was gravel, but.
Yeah,
and
grass,
grass.
I know, and you had that incredibly wet spring and everything grew and now it's dry, right?
yes, very.
Dusty, yeah, horrible. So I was asking where that driveway stood relative to the line, and it's just to, it's in the new lot,
The 13-acre lot.
Yep.
No,
exactly.
That was the purpose of that, taking that seven.
Right, you had to meet the acreage requirements and we had to meet the access requirement.
Well, unfortunately, we were for a straight line.
so does the driveway speak somehow to the frontage question?
No, I mean, it really doesn't,
Right.
it doesn't meet the frontage. We used to have a. Tut used to be really concerned about, "Well, what's the driveway? He was standing in for the fire chief. What's the driveway access gonna be like? No problem, you could easily get a fire truck there. There's a lot of, you're in a little high traffic area, but, yeah. So. If you look at the dimensional requirements of rural one, that's the one that your subdivision lot would fit in. Is the frontage. So there are setback requirements, I don't think you have a problem with those. Lot size, no problem with that. For the road frontage.
I mean, I just want to make sure I understand that the one lot would have about 200 feet of frontage, does that sound right? And the other would have about 150 some feet of frontage, is that right? I mean, the bylaws do explain that I mean, we can't just sort of grant things arbitrarily. The bylaws explain that we could grant a waiver that allows it up to a 50% reduction in frontage, but it's got to meet one or more of, I think there are 8 criteria
For dimensional change.
for us to allow that, am I right? The waiver standards.
I think we might be. In a slightly different category, and forgive me, I meant
Sure.
to. Look all this up, but teaching went late, I had students who couldn't access their online
Here's what I'm
textbooks and they were.
looking at. Joan, it's that
Free.
provision. Part of the-
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I just
Right.
found it myself.
Yep, so do you all have a copy of the bylaws?
We have a copy of the part talking about the shape. I know where to find it.
And this is which page, Steve?
Page 81.
Do we have it? Oh, I think you're like a mind reader, Grace. Yes, right. Anatomy and physiology students with a due date of Sunday and they couldn't access the textbook. No, because they were first year students and they're. So. David. I'd calm them down. This is. Working
This is,
is just such
So
a.
here's the waiver scheme. They reflect the waiver, and
Mhm.
waivers may be.
Land doesn't have-
Waivers may be granted by us, if it won't result in greater than 50% increase in any dimension.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and
This would
look
be-
myself, so I don't wanna get ahead of my skis, but we have a few weird
But-
lots in Braintree
Uh,
that are
it
completely.
has
off
to
the
be
box.
any one or more of these
And-
criteria.
we're gonna have to resolve that because
Five, six.
according to Two Rivers, when they tried to answer my question about road frontage. And they saw this in our bylaws, they said, ooh, red flag, you guys really should make this very, very clear about what each purpose is supposed to serve. But tonight, we're dealing with the bylaws that are in front of us. Not future bylaws. So Grace is trying to grab written copy. So you all can see what we're looking at,
Reading that.
which is a series of
Um,
standards that we ask people to meet in order to get a waiver. And unfortunately, they're not on the form.
Yeah.
Right, so when you fill out the form,
Which
you
one?
fill out those three criteria and you think, oh, that's all they're gonna look at.
Oh, yeah.
Good,
I'm very
The bylaws go
familiar
to
with
you.
yeah.
And
So
in
that's what I
fact,
want you to have a look at.
I want, I had business of
So-
land or something like that. So I was there just.
Yeah.
Some days.
That our property.
Sure.
And I think how she was.
Interesting.
So in other words, everything else on the road that. Does not.
Right, because those are grandfathered,
And,
that was before Braintree had zones.
and.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that,
Sure.
but I'm just, you know, it just.
But when you make it, right, so any new activity and a subdivision would be considered something new,
Oh, yeah.
that has to be,
I think you would,
that's.
there would be 10 for people coming out. There's, and
So we're looking to get you a copy of page 81.
no, that, there's a potential.
81 and 82.
81 and 82, so that we can talk about this. Without talking about something that you're completely, what are they? What are
No, I
they?
understand.
Yeah. And. While Grace. Does that. Yeah. So page 81 and page 82, and you'll see standard 8.2.2
Waiver standards.
waiver standards. You're good?
So we're coming down from those.
Yeah, wonder how. big that is. See what you know. Yeah.
So could you explain again the thinking behind why that number was picked? It's,
I can't, I wasn't there when we wrote the bylaw. I will say that. There's a regional zoning plan. That's Two Rivers on Okeechee, and then they help the towns develop zoning plans, they try to look for. My way of saying it would be within each district, they try to look at what the norm is and then what's good practice for. Access, in this case, or development of roads. In some cases, it's, in some towns. Like Braintree, all we have for facilities, is the town hall and the garage. And the elementary school, so for a lot of towns, it's how many students your schools can support and so forth, and all of that goes into community zone.
I think the 300 feet and this was referred to in the correspondence from is, you know, the 300 feet in that particular rural one district is to keep it more rural. In other words, fewer lots, fewer buildings, and a more rural character. It's in the less rural districts in Braintree, the frontage requirement is not as much.
yeah, I
So I think-
understand about density, but the thing is, it's. It's been there since before I was. Somebody renting that trailer site. In other words, I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact, whether we sell it or we rent
It's
it,
still the same
it's
number,
still
yeah,
the same number of people.
You're right.
in The facilities.
yeah,
I mean, we're not gonna rent it to a family because it's not big enough for that.
yeah. No,
But it's the permanence,
It's what,
the permanence
mhm.
of creating a distinctly separate lot. That makes a big difference.
And there's, right now, there's a lot of talk in Vermont about housing density and what we should do to increase affordable housing. You're absolutely right about that. This group, though, we are just a quasi judicial board, meaning we can wish for this and wish for that, like wishing that there was less ambiguity in our bylaws. I wish for that a lot. But our job is to just read this, read an application and say it does or it doesn't conform. We can't change it. We don't reason it. There is a group to do that, but we're not that group.
The zoning commission.
The planning.
Planning commission,
The
rather.
planning commission makes the rules. We just enforce them.
Having read, have you looked at those criteria? Is that making any sense?
And the form kind of alludes to that, but it really doesn't. That's like there, I think. Legally comes to. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's, you go way out on all them, there is one that's best, and she pointed this one out to you. It does, I mean, it's, your interpretation is something that is any appreciable.
It's zoning was anything perfect.
There is a route.
Yeah.
where you can make yours, I think it's-
Right, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
It's not something that.
Yeah, but it's not.
I just want to remind you guys, we're not is from stone. So if you're talking, it's like,
Yeah.
you might
Yeah.
wanna wait until,
Okay.
Good point. Okay, does anyone else have any questions, any points you folks want to bring up? Or,
One thing I believe in our favor is the waiver standards number 5.
The permanently
We
affordable.
are providing a affordable unit.
actually add to the town some, the homestead value. It's gonna add to the tax rolls anyway.
Yeah, I think your application is pretty clear. Yeah. Do you have questions about the application?
No, no, I think that's good. It's just,
Think all the information.
Yeah.
Is here.
yeah, basically, that's what we need to satisfy in our minds is if we have enough information.
Right,
You think for us to proceed to a
right.
decision. And as far as you folks are concerned, if there's anything further that you want to present to us, consider. I think that
Yeah,
it's a point for us to consider your point on the affordable housing, something to think about. Yeah.
I just wanna say, I'd be the last person on the planet to say, let's make it more dense, let's bring more people, let's wreck the way the environment looks. I would be absolutely the last person. That's not why I moved to Vermont. I don't wanna put a Starbucks in every corner. I don't wanna see a million people move up here, but
I think you're preaching to the converted.
yeah,
I think that's
I
why,
hope so.
pretty much why we're all here.
And I think your point that there's already a structure on this plot that you're trying to create, is
I'm just trying to
Valid
do the
one.
most, aesthetic way possible. I'm an artist. I certainly wouldn't want to put up something that looked ugly. Or. We have great neighbors on the other side. That house was vacant for a long time. We bought that parcel. It was part of the old homestead. I had to buy it. He was an absentee landlord. He was renting it to drug dealers and I don't know who else, but at 1 o'clock in the morning, the guy was out there with a rifle threatening me, so my uncle helped me buy it. And we kept it for a couple of years and then sold it, made a little profit, and really nice people live there. We're hoping to have really nice people on the other side.
Can I ask, when you were looking at dividing this and making sure each lot was at least 10 acres, were there any other alternative ways in which that you found to divide it, or that's pretty much it?
No, that's why we call it a profession.
Yeah, uh-huh,
I mean, we could make it smaller, so it wouldn't conform to the 10 acres, and then there's no reason for us to sell it, because we wouldn't make enough money to make it worth a while.
well, that just raised another problem too.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the problem of the road frontage.
Yeah, that's the one sticking point, I think.
I mean, there is and you were, mentioned that lot layout shall, one of the points is avoid irregularly shaped lots. In other words, with curves, jogs, dog's legs, etc. But you sort of started with an irregular shape, so
Yeah,
I don't know what you could have done about it.
Well, and so that becomes the question then. If there is no other way you can subdivide it, should you subdivide it
Right.
at all or not?
Right.
Subdivide it, and
Right.
that's the problem with weird lots.
Okay, any other questions? Anything else you folks want us to know? If not, then I propose that we, gotta be careful with my wording here. I think, we need to close the proceedings. If you feel you've presented everything, we feel we have enough information. And upon closing the proceedings, then we'll decide whether, if we can. We've got a little time this evening. If we decide we can discuss it and come up with a decision tonight, that's what we'd like to do. Rather than drag it out, and what I'm sure you folks would like us to do.
Yes.
If not, we will meet at another time to finalize our decision. Once we've made our decision, we will notify Grace. And she will get back to you with the decision and any conditions or other factors that we feel we need to be aware of.
Great.
Okay,
Much.
in that case, the hearing is adjourned.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
See you.
Thank you, Rob.